Kaduna, Niger, and Lagos to benefit as Nigeria opens investment opportunities with China. FCT Department of Mass Education takes Literacy Day advocacy to IDP camps. And police parade suspect attempting release of shared member in custody. Hello there, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the news desk of NTA Channel 5 Abuja at 1. My name is Tessie Omeri. Apart from the direct and potential opportunities being expected by Nigeria at the national level, President Bola Tinubu's presence in China has equally opened up investment and partnership opportunities for some subnational governments in Nigeria. State House correspondent Musbawat and Wahab reports that Kaduna, Lagos, as well as Niger are among the immediate benefiting states from the China trip.
President Bola Tinubu provided the lead for the leaders of the subnationals in the delegation on a visit to the Executive Exhibition Center of Huawei in Beijing.
Probably will be how to digitalize your...
Huawei has been in Nigeria since 1999 and here suggesting how digital development can aid the actualization of a renewed hope agenda, perhaps in a smarter way. So, the president was taken through the benefits that come with a typical smart city where new technologies are deployed to enhance intelligence operations, education, security, provision of infrastructure, renewable energy, among others. Kaduna State government is the first subnational to leverage on the partnership with Huawei in this regard.
Huawei will help us through the deployment of technology to ensure that we have smart education, smart healthcare, establishment of state-level command center in Kaduna that will also boost our security coverage in Kaduna.
The president also led his delegation to the corporate head office of the China Railway Construction Corporation, CRCC, where he lauded the partnership of the company in ensuring infrastructural renewal across Nigeria.
Infrastructure development is a very key enabler for prosperity. Movement of goods, transportation, inflation, and all of that is affected with a good network. As I go about in Beijing, I could see the monumental work of infrastructural development that the Chinese government is doing. And we were going to do the same. I don't see why the exchange of Naira and Yuan has stopped. We have to renew that. We should swap our currencies. Respect Yuan and I respect my Naira. And we do our transaction in that mode. I will promote it. I will support it. I guarantee you.
Lagos State government signed some MOUs for the construction of a second Ekpe-Lekki bridge and to continue the railway infrastructure development of the state.
And that will also, in another way, change the transformation and transportation infrastructure in Lagos, completely. So we're excited, with that. We're excited with the fact that we're going on with all of this shopping list, and there's several other, conversations we had in energy. But there are other conversations we had, on renewables, like I talked about. But more importantly, we've been able to use this trip to galvanize direct interests of Chinese businesses in Nigeria and vice versa.
The MOUs that have been signed have been very timely because, for instance, the Abuja-Lagos rail line has been concluded, which is going to start from Abuja through Suleja to Mina to Mokwa. So this is very good for us. On that corridor, it's going to open way for agriculture. It's going to open way, for transportation. Therefore, our goods can now go to the ports easily.
The governors commended President Bola Tinubu for leading the way, which they believe would speed up developments across the country. Musbah Dan Wahab, NC News.
And on security, the FT Police Command has paraded one Alhaji Shuaibu Shugaba Das for offering a bribe of 1,500,000 naira to operatives of its state intelligence department to release one of the suspected Shiite members involved in the killing of policemen 2 weeks ago. Onotu Yakubu brings us details.
Abdul Karim Ahmed is alleged to be a strong member and financier of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, popularly known as Shiites. He was arrested in connection with the killing of policemen during the sect's attack recently. Shuaibu Shugaba Das, another alleged known member and associate of Abdul Karim, on September 5th approached the command's operatives with the offer of 1.5 million naira to procure his illegal release.
The children come and meet me. They said that, okay, they read the amount of 1.5, so we should go to the police. I said, "Oh, what we will do, I can't take this money to police first now, till we go to search. I was asked from the Abdul Karim to hear the reality. Is this like that?" He said, "No, so this IBO cannot tell us lie now. They were present. Okay, I forgot. The children are the senior brother."
I'm not a finance officer.
So what are you?
Are you a member? Are you a member of the Shiite? The Shiite? I'm a member. Okay. I'm a member. Yes. So you partake in killing of two? I didn't even go out that day.
Commissioner of Police Bennett Igwe describes the intelligence operatives as models of the present police management's anti-corruption drive and commended their steadfastness and professionalism.
And they are going to get their commendation letter very soon. We have many who have given commendations, a lot of DPOs, a lot of tactical team commanders who have given a lot of them commendations. And they are part of the commendation, they will receive their own soonest.
While both suspects await conclusion of investigation and prosecution, the police reassured residents of commitment to defeat crimes in all its forms in the nation's capital. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to education matters. With the theme for International Literacy Day 2024, which is promoting multilingual education, literacy for mutual understanding and peace, it is against this background that the Department of Mass Education of FT Education Secretariat took the literacy advocacy to the schools without walls in the IDP camp. Hadiza Godwin Ebony has more.
For the celebration of International Literacy Day, FCT Mass Education has embarked on literacy awareness programs, embracing context by aligning educational interventions with learners' cultural and contextual realities. Director, FCT Department of Mass Education, Mrs. Ajarat Titilayo Alayande, and facilitator No Child Left Behind, Mrs. Nene Amadou, both say education can significantly enhance literacy outcomes and foster an inclusive, peaceful society.
It's an intervention center to ensure that all the children who were displaced by insurgency from the northern states of Nigeria have access to education. No one is left behind. And that is our responsibility in the Department of Mass Education, that we must ensure inclusivity, inclusive education. Every person, every citizen of this great country must be educated, must be literate, and must be economically empowered to contribute to the sustainable economy of this country.
We are really focused on saying that no matter where this child is from, how less privileged this child is, every child gets education. So I'm so privileged And I'm so happy to even hear that, oh, this is the team of, this is the same thing that the Mass Literacy Center stands for.
The students of the School Without Walls displayed the theme of the Literacy Day, which is promoting multilingual education, literacy for mutual understanding and peace by speaking in their different mothers' tongues.
In the Ajiham Primary 4, my name is Sadia Garba. I am in Primary 4. Victor Obed, and I'm Primary 6.
The director, FCT Department of Mass Education, Ajarat Alayande, says, originating in Nigeria, where conflict has led to a growing number of displaced children, the advocacy program initiative is designed to tackle gaps in language learning and skills development for children in internally displaced persons camps. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
A society where literacy is encouraged and promoted will impact on the human capital development positively, growth of infrastructure and the economy of the country. But the issue of illiteracy is a menace affecting development, peace, and unity in many developing nations, according to experts. Again, Hadiza Godwin Ebune in this special report takes a look at how out-of-school children continuously threaten efforts to promote literacy in communities.
According to UNICEF, statistics shows that about 10.5 million of country's children aged 5 to 14 years are not in school. Only 61% of 6 to 11 years old regularly attend primary school, despite being a fundamental right. Director, FCT Education Resource Center, Nimat Dawood Abdurrahim says, literacy empowers individuals by enabling everybody access to education.
Literacy is something that everybody has to key into. And every 8th of September has been earmarked by the international body as the Literacy Day. And when you talk about the Literacy Day, it's not just about we celebrating. It's about we looking at data, who are literate, who are illiterate. And when you talk about literacy, we are not also talking about those that can speak English. Even we are talking about the mother tongue. We are talking about in training in the basic education, so at the primary level. So if you are talking about illiteracy, these are all. If you are talking about literacy, these are all inclusive.
Experts further say literacy is the primary tool by which people can increase the horizon of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values, which will lead to a culture of peace based on respect for solidarity, equality, diversity, justice, tolerance, and the rule of law.
The information around you.
However, educationists say that despite being a fundamental right, not everybody has access to education. It was pointed out that in 2022, 1 out of 7 adults did not have basic literacy skills. There are millions of children in the world who are struggling to get minimum efficiency level when it comes to reading, writing, and numeracy, while some 250 million children are still out of school. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
Many thanks, Hadiza. And we're not done yet with the education report. That will be after this break. This is the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. When we return, sports correspondent brings us update on the Super Eagles encounter with Rwanda. These and more. Do stay with us.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
I will celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news,
on the news at 7.
Jama'a barkanmu da wannan
The news station NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Thank you for staying tuned. Now, given that attack on education has become a global concern, calling for attention to the plight of more than 75 million formative age of victims living in crisis-prone countries, stakeholders have advanced the urgent need for educational support. This forum informed the proclamation of global efforts to protect education from attack, with a clear message regarding the importance of safeguarding schools, students, and educationists. Onotu Yakubu in this report brings us up to speed with efforts to domicile these initiatives to keep education at the top of public agenda.
Research indicates that without access to education, a generation of children living in conflict-affected areas will grow up without the requisite skills to contribute their quota to economic development. Educationists believe that child rights to education cannot be safeguarded in conflict zones without education itself being protected. This, over the recent years, has informed the race to initiate deliberate efforts to protect education from attack by drawing global attention to the plight of more than 75 million children of between 3 and 18 years living in 35 crisis-affected countries and their urgent need for educational support.
Education has virtually been relegated. I think we need to really put education at the forefront and then give it that priority. And by the time we do that, we'll find that every other thing will work out well. By the time we have educated manpower in the country, then this our population will be very useful.
The United Nations General Assembly resolutions affirmed that governments have the primary responsibility to provide protection and ensure inclusive and equitable quality education at all levels. To this effect, stakeholders in the nation's education and security sector recently initiated a forum to strengthen resilience and integration of host communities to protect the nation's about 10.5 million out-of-school children due to insecurity.
We already have a national document, which we call the National Document Safe Schools Financing in Nigeria. The document was actually launched in 2022, and we started full implementation of the Safe Schools program in Nigeria in 2023, with the federal government releasing 15 billion to the implementing agencies.
The police recognizes the invaluable contribution of host communities in schools protection, hence the need for their support. It is on this premise that I solicit continuous support and cooperation of all.
This initiative at this level is only encapsulating what we have already started at the grassroots. We already have a safe school initiative right from public and private schools at the area council level, which culminates at the FCT level.
Stakeholders' submissions indicate that having a well-thought-out security system in schools will aid in emergency response, evacuation, and ascertainment of all affected persons, thereby making rescue efforts easy and result-oriented. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
More on education, a movement in students and youth entrepreneurship that has been growing rapidly across the country through the Ladi Memorial Foundation has hosted a Student Entrepreneurship Week in a sewing competition, where the winner, Adamu from Adamawa State, went home with a brand new industrial sewing machine. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni was there.
Adamu from Adamawa State is the overall winner of the National Sewing Championship 2024 competition tagged Skill Up Nigeria, where students were challenged to have career options in place, and they were also challenged to consider entrepreneurial ways to supplement their income while studying.
I'm very appreciative. This is the first time I came to Abuja, and it's the first time I come camp. camp time. It's the first time. I'm very appreciative. Thank you, thank you.
So very happy because I didn't expect that tickets.
National Coordinator of the National Sewing Championship 2024, Mrs. Rosemary Ojochenemi Oshikoya, pointed out that contestants need not be professionals to participate in the contest. In her words, contestants need just little creativity and enthusiasm.
Ideas should also come from research and from studies, because oftentimes there's been a lot of critique that many policies are not backed by real experiences or they are not well thought out. And we think a vocational skills competition, from our research and experience of over 8 years, has been the missing link of one, gingering individuals to take responsibility from themselves. There need to be incentives. And so it also creates an awakening that everybody can do more. We asked this year that states should give state awards recognition by their governors. I'm also hopeful that because these individuals are going back with something.
Our representative came one of the top, and we are grateful to God Almighty for his performance and the performances of all the participants, especially the overall champion, whom we are very well happy and pleased with.
The contest, which was in 3 categories, had other contestants winning at various levels and going home with medals and certificates. Also, giants in the education sectors were on ground to show support as Universal Basic Education Commission donated sewing machines for the junior category. NASENI, NAPTEP, National Council for Arts and Culture, FCT Education Secretariat, Raw Materials Research and Development Council, and NTA Abuja, among others, were also part of sponsors of the competition. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
And away from education, Christian music is said to be spiritual, especially when it comes from a talented, spirit-filled creative who brings people closer to God through resonating tones, lyrics, and sounds. This is evident in the world today as worshippers yearn to draw closer to their Maker through spiritual songs. Moses Kuye brings us this report from an album dedication.
Significance of spiritual music to human existence is of utmost importance to Christianity and the world. Unarguably, music plays a pivotal role in our everyday life.
The study about music, you will discover that the devil was an archangel of God. The devil was in charge of music in heaven until he fell. So when he fell, in order to get glory for himself, that's how he came about his own music.
Music is a very, very vital thing in the life of a Christian and the life of a church. And as a Christian, it is mandated that we have to sing praises to God always.
A lot goes into creating music to give the best listening experience to music lovers. Christian music creatives have been advised to create meaningful and spiritual music while being patient in receiving songs from God to help draw listeners to God through their music.
It is an avenue where you connect men with God. You know, through music of worship, we connect with God. And when we worship God in truth and in spirit, you see his glory comes down mightily. And when this glory of God comes down, healing, transformation, so many good things are bound to happen.
By the grace of God, I'm in the system for more than... In fact, I released my first album to this year, 2024, make it 24 years, when I released my first album. Sir, I will tell you, for you to have a quality video, a quality audio that people will hear without complaint, it takes a lot of fortunes.
Creating meaningful gospel music takes a lot. NTA News.
Let's now join our sports desk for updates on sports.
Recall that the Super Eagles trashed Benin Republic 3-0 on Sunday in Uyo in a game that saw them dominate from start to finish. With this convincing win, expectations were high for a repeat performance against Rwanda. Coach Austin Eguavon and his technical crew had a short turnaround to prepare the team, but still managed to secure a hard-fought goalless draw.
Pertaining the previous match, like yesterday,